Hey Raz, how's it going? What's up, Vigilante? Alright, we're going to start working on Daphne now. Any of those who are interested, I chopped her up, got the boots off. There is a metal rod in here, so that's a good thing. Shockingly enough, these belts were actually glued into her sides. So I couldn't get this one out unless I cut out the hand. Gonna have to do a lot of work up around here with the neck. Because what I'm thinking of doing is, when we get to it, going something like that, with the neck showing sort of the chest and tighter skirt. So that's kind of what I'm thinking of doing. But we got to get these legs situated first, otherwise they might snap off. So we're at the end of the Aves for the old batch. I pulled out the new batch from the refrigerator. So what we'll just do, sort of rebuild the legs. So what I like to do is sort of build out the legs and the calf muscles, and then after I sand it and shape it down, I'll kind of build out the ankles, and then from there we can build out the shoes. How's it going, Raccoon? And of course, so if we do the stockings up to here, or if we do the stockings to here, it's not going to be as this wrinkly, so I got to rebuild the knees too. So I figured I would build out these first, shape these down, and then mess with this, because I'm afraid I might snap these off while I'm working on her. So I got to be a little bit careful until I secure things. And I'm going to pull off the gloves this way in case I have to mix up more. I sanded down her mask. What happens is the way they sculpted it, they sculpted the mask forward and her forward to her head. So I might have to kind of rebuild a little bit of the upper eye sockets. And then I think I'm going to strip this down too first. But I just wanted to show you how far I got on it. So I'm just going to kind of keep fill in some of these areas today maybe. Just kind of keep building up. Now if I build too much of a calf muscle, it's not that big of a deal because I'm going to sand this all down anyway. It's easier to shape this than to try to sculpt it. Not really too worried about the top part of the shoes because the bottom part's the most important. So we'll try to make sure we salvage that as best as we can. So like I say, this might look like a really huge calf, but it'll get sanded down. Guess there's a couple way of doing her shoes. We'll see how that kind of works when we get to it. Now whenever I do this, I don't try to jam my finger in there too hard, just kind of smushing it around, trying to even it out. How's it going, Steger? Just chilling today, doing some basic sculpt work. Trying to get these legs secured for the week. Trying to make sure it's kind of all even out. I don't want to go too thin on the ankle because when I start sanding, I want to take a lot of it off. There's just weird little humps here, but when I sand it down, I'll kind of clean it up a little bit more. I always find it's easier to sort of chop off the boot and then rebuild it because trying to keep that boot on there, it wasn't actually, like, it was a very thin layer coming up the leg, so if you over sand it, that breaks off. Plus this kind of secures it a little bit more. So it's always best to play it safe, especially when you're manhandling it throughout a custom. We'll give her a nice little calf muscles anyway. Screw it. So that's kind of like one leg pretty much started. Now I did this leg first because if I did this one and put it down, I'd screw it all up. Uh, as far as the bases go, I'm not really sure yet. I think I gotta think about that a little bit more. The Velma base from the Black Canary works for her, but for Daphne, I'm not really sure. I was also thinking about maybe doing a base for both of them, so they could stand side by side. I don't think I'll be keeping them. They might be put up for auction, so I don't know if maybe sell them separate or sell them together. It's kind of like something I'm thinking about. So we got some time before I really get into the whole idea for the bases. I was thinking maybe old wooden floor, like they're in a haunted castle or building or something. You know, like old wooden planks. Something simple. Just kind of like brainstorming as I go. So that's what I was thinking, maybe a set. And then maybe something simple. I don't know. Like each one would keep the base, you know, like the base they came with. But maybe I don't know. I gotta think about it a little bit more. We'll see how it goes. It's a long way off. That's even if people are interested in these type of characters when they're done. But we'll see. Because the other thing I'm thinking, like, you know, if I was to do them together and sell them as a, you know, together, if you do a crazy elaborate base, would the people have room for it? That's the other problem. I don't know. Maybe one day I'll look through some old cartoons, see if there's any kind of stuff from the cartoon that sort of pops out at me. You know, I could do something where there's like a mask on the floor too from one of the ghosts. I don't know, there's a lot of options out there, but I think for right now I'm just going to focus on the characters. And then maybe when we get closer to finishing both of them, maybe people can throw out some ideas. Maybe I'll come up with something. Long way to go. The other thing too is I can look at that website that sells all those STL files. Maybe there's something in there I might want to, you know, add on to a base. I don't know. 2, 3, 4. I change arms when it's doable. Sometimes you can't, because if you look at the way like the torso is positioned and the arms, you just can't force an arm a direction it's not natural. And it is difficult. Polystone is not very friendly to work with, so there is times where things become more of a hassle in work than it is. This stuff isn't clay, it's, you know, resin mixed with stone powder, so sometimes it's more work than it's worth it. Legs are very hard to reposition, because when you sculpt legs, you have to think about where your hip is. So you see her hip is at an angle this way, so if you try to position the legs a different way, her hip should turn this way, and it doesn't work. So there's limitations to what a sculpt you can and can't do. Raz, that's not a bad idea either. Could sculpt some tombstones, put some high grass there. Maybe one day I'll hit YouTube and just look up some old cartoons. Maybe I'll see like a perfect background or idea. The pinup is somebody I found on eBay. If you want, I will grab their information only because I'm using their picture in the video. So this way, if you want to actually find the artist. I tried contacting them to see if I can use their picture on the thumbnail, but they never got back to me. So I will get their information now. Let's see. Dalrymple is the name of the artist. If you go on eBay, you can find his artwork. He does a lot of different types of stuff. I will actually put that in the description. So that's the artist who I found. Like I said, I sent them a message seeing if I can use the artwork for the thumbnail. No response. I don't know if maybe it was like an agent who actually sells for the person on eBay. So that's kind of the idea I'm thinking, you know, like a nice you see the chest, the tighter skirt. I think it'll fit better for this type of a custom. I tried to find Instagram or Twitter for the artist, but I couldn't. Yeah, no problem, man. Yeah, that's my whole thing. Is I go on eBay, I look for artists that sell characters, sketches. Sometimes I come across some really cool artists, so I save them. I try to find people on all over the place, and I just want to give them credit for, you know, if I use their artwork. A lot of people get back to me, but some don't. So I just want to make sure I'm not, you know, using artwork without permission, or not, at least not giving credit. But the one I posted there, that Daphne, is my favorite one I saw he did so far. Alright, her legs look weird without the ankles there, but that'll get added later. I actually contacted about 8 artists that I saw Daphne artwork I wanted to use for the thumbnails. Not one of them got back to me, so I'm just going to use the original cartoon artwork. Some artists in YouTube is a little bit, you know, fickle when they come to using their art, so... This part's going to be a pain. Every time I move it, it squishes. But that is sort of the legs rebuilt until I can sand it down. When I'm ready to work on her, what I need to do is sort of rebuild this part over here and this part over here. Because what happened is that mask, the way it was sculpted, when I took down the mask, I completely took that out. In here was a little bit of a pain trying to get this part fixed up. So I'll strip this down, and then what I'll do is sort of try to rebuild this. The only thing that sucks though is rebuilding this and then hit it with primer and then sculpting hair. I hate sculpting hair on primer, but I have no choice. So I think once I build these back up later, that should look good. And the funny thing too is the bat symbol on her thing is actually like plastic. So I was able to pry this off of her belt buckle, and I can utilize this for something down the line now, which is kind of cool. So like I say, whenever I work on Daphne, it's a little bit here, a little bit there, so I'm going to probably pull out the Miss Marvel now. And then if I have any extra A's after Miss Marvel, I probably will fill in this stuff here. So it's just a matter of doing little by little without overdoing it. But this is all the stuff that I kind of hide in the videos when I do my regular videos. Is, you know, I do that for an hour, 2 hours, and it sits for a couple days, and I sand it and I go back to it. Otherwise, the whole video would be crazy amounts of time. So I think we can at least do a lot on her today. So I'm thinking we can actually try to get this belt going. Sash, I mean, a little bit more. And then maybe start up the base. I think I can get that stuff done today. Hey, what's up, Marvel? How you doing? Raz, Velma, the second video is pretty much already filmed. I just haven't edited it, and I have to do that down the line. I want to try to get ahead of the game on Velma before I do my videos. So basically her shoes and socks are all done, and right now I'm kind of working on the collar, her cuffs, and then her skirt. But this weekend, though, I'm going to be putting up the Nate Gray, the Savage Sea Dragons, and the Black Electra exclusive head that I kind of made for her on Sunday. So I want, Velma's going to take a while, Daphne's going to take a while, so you figure they're going to be like spring-summer projects. But Velma I'm having a lot of fun with. I want to make sure I take my time with that one. I really like the way it came out. Then hopefully Miss Marvel will get finished up before, maybe when we're halfway through Daphne. And then I can pop out another statue and the Patrons can vote on that one. And we'll see about another character added to the rotation. Down the line I will be getting. I talked to somebody where we're gonna do a trade. I'm gonna get the Superman Premium format, and I'm going to turn that for myself into a Hyperion from Earth X. So if you ever read the Earth X storylines or it's Paradise X, he's in like a black and gold outfit. He's old. I've always wanted that statue, so I might save that for the streams as well, or I might just do a video series. Not sure yet on that one. I'm not really a Hyperion fan. It's just that when I read the Earth X storyline, I absolutely love the character in that. So I thought that would be kind of cool to have a full size of him. But I did manage to get 3 statues from people for future either videos or live streams, and when I'm ready to pop them out, I think I'm going to let the Patreon members vote on what character to use those for. That's all down the line. Just kind of spitballing here. Raz, which Velma print did you see? I've never really saw any of the ST files of her. It'd be pretty interesting to see what they came up with. Hey, Modelvolt, you still in the chat? If you are, let me know. So I'm gonna do her knot later. I'm gonna just work on the other stuff first. You were correct. I think, whatchamacallit, Tester's dull coat is discontinued. So basically I went to a couple stores and asked, and it seems like it's out of the system everywhere. So, and I can't find it online either anymore. I'm kind of curious as to why it got discontinued. My theory is there's probably a chemical in there. They decided to it's illegal in the USA or anywhere, and they probably said it's too dangerous and they got rid of it. Like you're right. That maybe they're gonna redo the formula. Maybe it's just gone for good. I don't know. But when I went to the hobby store and I asked the guy, even he was kind of pissed off because he says he uses it all the time too. Oh, they were bought out? That's gonna suck. Usually when companies buy out, they always discontinue all kinds of stuff. I don't like the dull coat through the bottle that you have to pour into your airbrush. It never comes out perfect. It always clumps up, and it pulls any of your paint pigments out of the brush too. I mean, I don't care for the tester's paints, I just love the dull coat. And I'm pretty sure if they do make it again, they'll probably change the formula where it doesn't even work right anyway. I mean, it's a good thing I got at least 9 cans left. But after that, that's it. Well, when you told me last time you thought it was discontinued, I figured, what the hell, let me order a couple. I guess I'm glad I did. I'm gonna have to save them just for the skin tones and that's it. But I may hit a Hobby Lobby tomorrow, and if I do and I see a couple, I'll snag them up. Just trying to add some little wrinkles and stuff to this. Who cares if they give you the look? I mean, you're spending the money, unless it's the other people who are always asking for it. The one store I go to, they hound you though. They act like you're gonna jack the place. Every corner you turn, there's a person there. Can I help you? Can I help you? Well, the one store I go to, when I went there and I asked him about the paintbrushes, the guy's like, I have 1,000 more in the back. He's like, how many do you want? But I can understand why some stores are like, I gotta save everything for my other customers. I knew a comic book store like that once. If anything, you're just probably making more work for the workers. They're probably like, oh, I gotta go and stock the shelf again. Sucks about this tester's dull coat. I gotta try to think of a different way of sort of setting up the skin now once that's gone. Maybe they just think you got a problem. Probably think you're a paint sniffer or something. Should go up to the manager and ask him if he could work out a deal with you. Say, hey, I need to order a couple more. Can you give me a little bit of a discount? Worst case scenario, he just says no. DXA kits, if they come from Ownage, they're pretty much an Ownage kit. If he had it like done from like a garage kit guy, it's not. I think the Rogue and the Catwoman were done by like garage, you know, like someone in the garage, but I think the rest of them are Ownage kits. So I think Savage Land Storm is an Ownage kit. I mean, you can just pull them out of the box and start painting, but I prime everything anyway. Only because, yeah, I don't know if the Ownage people were like had greasy hands when they were packing the items. The DX8 Nate Great was fun as hell to paint. Just a little tricky to set up. I'll probably post that video along with the other ones on Sunday. It's a little tricky to sculpt this while it's on her, but otherwise I would just mess it up trying to hold it. How's it going, Golden? Yeah, thank you. Getting there. At least now it's a little bit more secured. I'd rather it be a little bit thicker than what it should be, only because I don't want it to snap and break. Plus it'll be a little bit easier once this is thickened up. I can do the knot. Alright, I think that's a good start for the sash on that front. I think we can start working on the base. Now I gotta try to get the sash off without ruining it though. So let's... Alright, we'll put that aside. Since we got a little bit of eaves, let's fill this up. So anyone to just getting in, this is the Daphne. Pretty much sanded her down. Now we're just gonna fill in some of this here. I'm still shocked that Sideshow did this. I mean, that's not a bad idea, but they painted these and they just glue them in for the belt. Definitely makes it easier for painting. Only reason I found out is I grabbed the pliers and I figured I could just break the pieces off, and next thing I know I ripped the belt out. Cool thing about this outfit is we can probably utilize all these wrinkles up top. So that's a good thing. Except we're gonna have to sand all this down. Gotta make sure the booty's showing. It's a good start. That's a good start on that. All right. So we are going to start working on this base. I think I can get a lot of this done. Wash my hands real quick. So to start this off, to make life easier, anything that is flat, I will be using. A lot. I think that should be good. Alright. So the idea is we're going to be breaking up pieces, kind of like broken up, like it's all kind of broken and shattered underneath your feet. So what I need to do is wash some of this off. I'm going to go and run this under the sink real quick, get all this powder off, and then come right back. Basically, we're going to be creating like a puzzle. I don't know how well it's going to look, but it's simple. Now you could glue them all down, but I want them to be raised a little bit, so I'm going to mix up freeform air. Before we do that, I have to clean out my brushes, otherwise I'll lose them all. Let me clean those out. Gonna need the water as well. I think what we should do though is, with freeform air, it doesn't feel very tacky at first, but after a little bit of like water and stuff, it really gets nasty and tacky. So let's play it safe. Only because I don't want that stuff all over the place. You might be saying, why am I doing this even though I have a top on it? The freeform air stuff is it's kind of a pain. It's good, but it's a pain. Let's get some of these items out of our way. Break anything. That's good enough. We're going to wrap up the figure as well, because handling her is a big mistake. Alright, freeform air also destroys paintbrushes, so if you have any older ones, it's kind of a good idea. Cryos, basically something sort of like that picture there. Tight skirt, showing the chest. It's kind of something, it's kind of, Daphne is going to be having the skirt flowing, so you see her, you know, bottom. Whereas Daphne, it's going to be sort of a tighter skirt, but you're going to see the chest. So it's kind of like each one you see the other, you know? It's kind of the idea so far. But like I said, we're in early stages of Daphne where I can only do so much each week right now until I really start getting into the outfits. I mean, you'll probably see a little bit of booty on her, but not much. It's kind of the idea. So I'll grab her real quick. So my idea is the skirt will probably come to, like, you know, right about there. And maybe we'll kind of see the bottom of her booty a little bit. Something like that. I'm not going up too high, and I'm not going to go down low. Something like right about there. But I don't want it flowing though. Hers isn't going to be flowing. So we're going to work on more of the, see the chest coming around there with the scarf kind of hanging over this way. That's the idea for now, but right now I got a lot of this to work on. You know, I did all this leg work and stuff like that. Marshall, it's all about what I envision. I look at a sculpt and I'm like, that would look like this great in this character, this pose would work for that character. I look at how much work it is to chop up the item too. I don't know, I've been doing this so long, sometimes when like a company like Sideshow shows off an item day one, I already start thinking about what could that be turned into. Because there's a lot of items out there I want for myself, but so far there hasn't been statues that fit the character. So there's still a lot of grails I want to make for myself, but you know, like for instance Nate Gray. I've always wanted a Nate Gray, but there was never a 1/4 scale for him. DXA Designs made the character, so I'm setting that. I don't know, maybe it's a sickness, but that's just kind of how I got into the hobby. Alright, so I got this freeform air stuff. I got these big buckets of the stuff here. So it looks like marshmallow. I don't need a hell of a lot, but enough. Hold on 1 second, I'll grab you the label. Alright, So it's called Freeform Air. I suggest if you get this stuff, you definitely use gloves because it's got a very tackiness to it. It's just like A's. You mix A and B together in equal amounts. The thicker it is, the hotter it gets and the faster it cures. The thinner it is, the longer it takes. So it says pot life is 60 minutes, handling time and 4 hours, cure time. I use it for bases mostly. You see, it's kind of like, it just breaks apart. It feels like, you know, like marshmallow. I like it for like doing, like, if you're gonna do like a rocky base, if you're gonna do maybe sand type of a texture. It's very light. Like literally, it's, you know, but it leaves a nasty residue on your hands and statue. Can't really sculpt with this stuff though. I haven't been. You can, when you mix it together with water, it's tacky. But if you use baby powder, you could kind of get away without it being tacky. But it doesn't. I gotta work with it more. So as you start mixing it, it sort of kind of breaks and clumps away. So once you mix it, if you leave it in a ball like that, it starts getting hot and curing right away. But if you leave it really thin, it takes a little bit longer. So what I like to do is keep my gloves on, dip my hand in water, and you let it get nice and tacky and mix it up. It starts to break apart here, so you can kind of just use it to pick up pieces. So if you put enough water in there, it'll get see, it really stays all over your fingers though. That's the downside about it. But if you mix it with sand, you know, you get a cool texture with it. I've done it with a couple of my bases so far. But if you're not paying attention and you're sculpting something and you leave it on a ball to the side, this ball starts curing up in the inside real fast. But like I said, it leaves a nasty residue on your hands, so if you do it without the gloves, be careful what you touch, because you'll leave like residue all over stuff. It bonds pretty well. I haven't really had a crazy issue where it wasn't bonding to anything. They say it's pretty strong. Like I saw a video, or I was at the Smooth On place where they made this big, huge, like almost the size of my desk out of this stuff, and they put it on 2 blocks of wood, and somebody stood on it, and it didn't break. So it seems like it's pretty durable, but so what we're gonna do is, it's good for armature too. Like say you want to build a base and you want to build a structure, you can use this to build a structure, and then you can use something else on top of it. Marshall, I don't like working with vinyl. I hate vinyl kits. PVC is very hard to work with because PVC melts if you try to chop it up. I just mostly like resin and polystone. Alright, I'm going to take this glove off because you see how it kind of just sticks to all your glove and stuff? It's pretty funky stuff. Doesn't smell. I don't care that I'm going around the circle too much on this. That'll get chopped out or something later. I mixed up a little bit more than I needed to, just in case. You can sand this stuff, you can chop it, you can do whatever you want, just like Abe's afterwards. But I just find that it's not really sculpt friendly for detailing. Gonna do the edges a little bit thicker. Once it cures, you could throw Abe's on top of it. You could do whatever with this stuff. It's pretty cool. And then what I'll do is I'll kind of flatten this out a bit over here, so in case I need it doesn't cure up too fast. No, ask away, Marshall. That's what I'm here for. We chop around this stuff. That's kind of what the live streams are for, to give you guys an idea on how long this stuff takes. Alright. So, what we start doing now is sort of worst case scenario, if any of these blocks pop off later, you can always just use glue and sort of glue them back down. So kind of. So if I want this piece to stay up a little bit more, like, yeah, think of almost like the Power Girl base for Sideshow, how her base was, kind of sort of creating something similar. And they gotta try to move fast too because don't have a hell of a lot of work time. Now hopefully once this stuff starts getting a little bit tougher, I can actually kind of clean it up a bit. Right now I'm just trying to get some pieces down. Stagger, this is Freeform Air from Smooth On, and I'm trying to create a broken up base for her. Something simple, nothing too crazy. Just reusing some old resin A's pieces. Try not to overthink it. Hey, Matthew. So you can see how this stuff gets very all over the place. But it works pretty well. And the good thing too is letting it be messy and get on these areas kind of helps dirty it up some too. I'll have to go in there and clean up some underneath the feet, but I could do that with Aves later. And once it starts curing up too, hopefully I can kind of break in the inside of them more. It's freeform air. It's just like Aves and Magic Sculpt, except it's not sculpting friendly. I don't find it sculpting friendly. It's great for stuff like this. It's a little bit on the cheaper side for like a gallon kit like I got, which is like $100 for like the kit. You get like a gallon A and a gallon B. If you've seen any of my like the Savage Land Rogue base, I use this stuff in the video. I did it for the bricks for the Bowsette base. definitely got to play with it and get used to it. I'm still not used to it. But it has its uses. So you think about it, if you buy a $45 or $48 4-pound kit of Aves, and you did all this work with Aves, which you can make it look like crazy detail, but it's a lot of, you know, you're spending a lot of money. Whereas if you buy the gallon kit, which is, you know, this 1A and B for $90, you got a lot of material you can use. So sometimes, you know, picking something up like this is a little bit cheaper and works. Pretty much getting there. Simple enough. I want to wash my hands real quick. So once this is cured too, like in a day or so, you can actually go in there with a Dremel tool and you could kind of add scratches to the flat pieces to kind of detail it up. But what we're going to do right now is use some baby powder. Make life a little easier. So if you throw some baby powder on here, it doesn't really start sticking to your tools much, and you can start getting in there. And what happens is if a lot of baby powder gets off of pieces, they kind of just, you know, go away. Now if you do the baby powder on like this and then try to stick this on there, it won't work. So you kind of want to use the baby powder near the end. So I can actually dig in a little bit more now and it's not sticking to the tool. Not a fan of using baby powder in the studio, but kind of get away with it. Only because I don't try to get the dust out of the place. So it still may look a little weird, but you can see there's sort of rocks forming now. Just kind of going with the shape, bringing them up. You can go back in with some water if you want. If you did throw Aves down, I mean if you throw the baby powder down, but not the end of the world. It depends on how hollow it is. Is it eggshell hollow, like if you put your finger through it, it'll crack? Or is it hollow where it's got like 1/4 of an inch thickness? And how big of an opening is the hollowness? Like, is it like something you have to drill into to fill in, or is it something like a half scale or full scale bust that you can look underneath of it and it's all hollow? A lot of that comes into play, actually. Alright, well, Troy McDivitt kits, it's probably a large one. You want to create a big enough hole opening, because sometimes some stuff you put in there could explode it. The expensive way is getting a gallon of kit of resin and try to fill it in with resin, but that'll get super hot. Smooth On makes a stuff called it's a foam. It's a 2-part epoxy foam, which is just basically resin, but what happens is it foams up. And you could pick up a trial kit of that and see if it would fill up the whole item. What it does is it gives it a little bit of a solidness, but without like spending crazy amounts of money. But the only problem is if you don't have it being able to flow out of an area evenly, it might explode your item. That foam stuff you get at Home Depot for your walls, that stuff doesn't work. you can get this freeform air stuff that I have here that I'm working with, and you can mix it up and you can shove it into the statue if you wanted to. It's light, it's not that expensive. A 1 gallon kit, which might fill them up, would probably cost you $100. You can use, if you want to buy a couple kits of that Durham's putty at Home Depot, that stuff could work, but the only problem is you got to do it in sections, because you can't fill up the whole item with that, because you got to let it cure, because that stuff is water based. So it depends on, you know, is it a grail? Do you want to spend a lot of money on it? Do you want it super solid? Do you kind of want it semi-solid? You know, it always comes down to how much you're willing to spend and how far you're willing to go with the item. That's the reason why they hollow the stuff, is because it gets very expensive to make it solid. It's 1/6 scale. Well, I mean, you could do resin if you wanted to. If you think it's thick enough where it won't warp on you, you know, you could get a 2-part kit of resin at Michael's, even though that's cheaper resin. And you could get, like, you can create a funnel in the foot. What you want to do is you want to make sure you have an airflow coming here up the leg and going around the item to the other foot. So you might as well drill a hole in here and drill a hole here, pour in here, and let it go around. So you could try that if you want. See how it works. But if you're a little bit iffy on resin and you're a little bit concerned, you could do the Durham's putty. It's, what is it, like $10 for a can at Home Depot? And you can mix a little bit in one night, pour it in, let it cure a bit. Next day, put a little bit more in, let it cure a night, just to make sure that, you know, it really cures up. It's cheaper, it'll do the job. Just the Durham's putty is just, you know, like I said, it's water based, and you really want to let it like kind of cure up a bit. So you could try that. I put a video on my channel on the Durham's putty. If you want to check it out, it gives you an idea on what it does. Yeah, I mean, if you want to just get regular smooth-on resin, you could buy a resin. You know, a trial kit might be perfect for that scale. They're like $40 for a kit, $34 or so. The foam stuff, I haven't used it enough to really, you know, to know how to work with it. Because the foam stuff, think of like when you pour beer in a, you know, a glass bottle, all that foam starts coming out and expands over. So you don't want all that resin expanding over to your detail, your item, because it's going to destroy it. So you would have to create a longer funnel, so this way if it foams up you can saw off the foam afterwards. So like I said, it depends on if you want to just go get resin, if you want to get the foam, if you want to, you know, I guess it's all what you're comfortable with. Yeah, that's a good point, Golden. You pretty much, you might want to do a quick rotocast to kind of thicken it up a bit, and then put it in another layer. And rotocasting is you kind of pour in the resin and you kind of twist it. Like I said, it's kind of difficult to say without having the kit in hand, to be like, oh yeah, if you just pour in resin you're good, or it's like, well, that's too thick, you're gonna ruin it. Yeah, if you haven't used resin before and you're gonna mix it and pour it in, honestly, you might want to kind of experiment first. But like I said, if you want to just play it safe, get the Durham's Buddy. You know, it's pretty much, it's easy to work with. That's why I suggest, like, once they open up these shows again, Jersey Fest, Wonderfest, hit one of those shows and sit there and talk to the guys from Smooth On. Even if you're just new to the hobby or you think you'll never do it, just to get an idea of how that stuff works. Once you get it, because they have a class where they actually show you and stuff, so. Alright, so this stuff's starting to get a little bit tougher. Not much, but a little. So I'm trying to jack up the pieces a little bit more. Well, I think they have what's called Monster Palooza out there. Might be something to look into. I think it's in California somewhere. And I think Smooth On has a table there. I think they have another building or something out there somewhere. Or you could go to Smooth On's website. They have a lot of classes. They have a lot of YouTube videos. They have a lot of live seminars. I would definitely hit the Smooth On site. I'm pretty sure you could find some really cool information that you might say, okay, this isn't as bad as I thought. I think that would work, Golden, but that's kind of like the same thing as, whatchamacallit, the, Durham's putty. But I never use this stuff, so I don't know. Like I said, I don't know if there's enough, like, air in the item that would let it cure. Because I remember in the past, which could have been plaster of Paris, that I drilled into an item, and I don't think it cured, so when I drilled into it, all this paste came spraying out of my face. But then after that opened up that hole, it cured in like a day or two. So maybe short pores would work. So that's kind of where I was going with the base. It needs a little bit more detailing in here down the line. Do is kind of start adding a little cracking and some weird stuff in the inside here. What I might do is get a wire brush when this cures up and hit it with a wire brush to get any of this little flaking stuff out. So you can kind of see it from the side. It's kind of like that anime manga type of a base. I'm sure you'll figure out yourselves. I'm sure you'll get something that'll make it work. Do a little research, watch a couple videos. Hey Silvermouth, how's that working out for you? Nice. Does it print fast? It sounds good, although I never really got to see many in person. Hey, butterfly. Yeah, good as they can be. Warm weathers get creeping up on us, so that's all I care about right now. This is why I feel this stuff is always a mess. Put this aside here. Try to clean up a bit. Like I said, this stuff really destroys your brushes once it starts curing up. Doesn't want to come off stuff. So I just usually chuck the brushes. So that's a good way of salvaging old resin parts if you keep them flat. Alright, we got a lot done on her. We're almost there. Finish up the sash, clean up, and I think we can start paint work. The Durham's putty, you could pour it in. You can make it like almost like a milk or like a batter, but you got to give it a. You got to let it cure. It's not going to cure if it's really thick. Like if you pour in like say you pour in this much here of very watery, you have a big opening for it to cure. So if you have a little tiny opening and it's not getting a lot of stuff in there, it's not really going to cure. So what you might want to do is make like a cup of batter, pour it in there and kind of rotate it, you know, maybe hit it with a hair dryer, you know, kind of give it a little bit of time to cure, and then the next day pour in another little batter, turn it around and keep going. The only reason why I say that is because I did it with a bottom of a base, like it was like a base like this big, and I poured in a shitload, and when I drummed into it, when I got to the bottom, it was all like cakey. So you got to give it some way to cure in layers. But that stuff doesn't get hot. It's just that it's very you're just using water, so you got to let it evaporate. Yeah, no problem. Good luck with it. Hopefully it works out for you. Alright, so I think that we got that done. We got her legs pretty much set up. We'll get her head fixed up next time. But Miss Marvel's looking pretty decent. I looked online, I didn't see any bursts or anything I liked. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to keep these. What I think is we'll kind of put it in the palm like that. So I think that'll be kind of something simple. Just have to make sure I do it with like an epoxy. Like that, up there. And then this one like so. Something like that. Yeah, I looked online, there's some other bursts. The only thing is they're either flames or they're electric. I didn't really see anything that sort of like screams Miss Marvel powers. Of course I'll center it a little bit better. But I think that'll look pretty cool. I just gotta find the correct way of doing it. Like a drop of like some epoxy in her palm should work out pretty well. I don't know, something like that. I'll figure it out. And then for Daphne, we'll build out the chest and the neck once I get the head situated. Once I detail up the head a little bit better here, I can work out the neck. I think I'm gonna have to attach the whole head. I think it's got to be attached. I think it'll be too much of a trouble to try to make it removable with the hair and the collar. I think it'll just maybe one straight shot. I think I just got to take down the top of the head a little bit more. I think it's too high because they had the helmet on her. But pretty much won't see her ears anyway. So I don't have to worry too much about up in here because we're going to have the bangs come here. This handle will definitely be removable. This one I gotta try to figure out how I'm gonna get this in when I go to paint. It might be something where I kind of glue it in at the end, because it'll be too much trouble trying to sculpt with that there. So hopefully by next stream I'll have this sanded down. Hopefully I'll have the head fixed up a little bit more. I'll have this sanded down, and I think I'm going to work out the knees a bit, take all these wrinkles out. I don't know, so I'm thinking, I don't know, I'm thinking maybe her leg should have the whole entire stockings all the way up. I mean, I've seen some artwork where she doesn't. You know, there's some artwork where she has stockings sort of up to here, you know? But I don't know how that would work. I think I just got to get through this hump first and then see. I should probably fill in this too as well. No, I didn't sculpt the nose. What I did was I chopped off the mask. So basically her mask went, you know, into here and over in here. So what I have to do is I got to build out this section over here a bit because I took that down with the mask. So I just got to build out this, you know, sections out a little bit more. But I'm going to strip down all the paint because I just needed to do this so I can actually make sure I sanded where I needed to. And then what I'll do is I'll strip this down, and then I could get back in there with some primer and fix it up a bit. Yeah, I'm taking these wrinkles out. These wrinkles are coming out. They're, I'm going to take all these wrinkles out of here because it's just way too much. I'm just trying to think about, you know, it seems like a lot of her artwork, she got like stockings all the way up. It's not like, you know, sometimes the cosplay girls have a stocking to here, and then a lot of the artwork I see, she doesn't have any stockings to here. It just goes up. It's like pantyhose, I guess. So I'm thinking more pantyhose for her. Kind of looking through some of my artwork. See, saved a whole bunch of pictures. Here, like this picture here, I'll put up on screen. This is a cosplay girl I saw, which I think this kind of would work a little bit better. Picture, image. Hold on. What the heck? So I saw that cosplay outfit, and I thought maybe, you know, we'll have the stockings all the way underneath. I think it'll look better. You know, a tighter skirt that comes down to there. And then, but we'll show more of the chest up there. So that's kind of like the idea. I like the idea of the stockings going all the way up. I think it's just the shoes. I'm gonna do my own little take on the shoes, only because she doesn't have shoes like this. You know, so I think you know, because I guess most of the artwork she's for sort of flat shoes, but I'll do my own little take on the shoes there. But I will utilize these wrinkles for her outfit. You know, I will utilize these here. And I definitely will utilize these back here because I think it works. You know, these up here as well. And these over here. So I think that just kind of works. It's just the cuffs are going to be a little tricky. I could leave her cuffs this long, but a lot of artwork she doesn't have them that long. Either they're here or they're here. So I'm probably going to have to take it down. I think we'll go to cuffs like maybe right about there. You know, somewhere like there, and then I can take all this down. See, we can grab an old piece of silly putty, and you can wrap it around just to get an idea where the skirt might go. So it's just kind of planning as I go. Usually with these things I kind of try to think about it. So you figure the skirt probably go like maybe around there, sort of, and then sort of a little bit. So you would be able to see some little bit of booty under there, not much, but sort of like there. That's kind of what I'm thinking about for the skirt. Unless I mean, we could go a little bit. So her skirt is a little bit, you know, you really don't even see the booty much. I mean, you could go a little bit lower with it, but then you sort of hide the booty on it, you know. So I'm thinking definitely just right above there. We'll have a little fun with it. So the way it'll work is when we're ready to do the skirt, it's going to be roll out some magic sculpt, wrap it around it, and that's it for today. You just have to kind of just let it cure, not play with it, and then once that's all hardened out, the next time I could go back in and start adding all the details and everything. Just the way it works with building skirts. So just right above the booty, like so. Something like that. That's kind of the idea. And then for her once we get the chest all situated, it's gonna go like this. So we're thinking of something, you know, something like that. I know it's not perfect, but it'll go like that on her outfit. So that'll be the top of the shirt. So we'll see more chest, less booty. Velma, more booty, no chest. So that means what I have to do is build out all this neck and make this one solid piece, and then build this, you know, do all this, and then do the scarf, and then do the hair. It's not a bad idea, Stager, but the idea for me is I wanted her to hold up a Scooby snack in her hand. I don't want it. The idea is I don't want her thinking of like she's undressing. If I have her with Velma as a dual, you know, like setup, Velma is going to be having the magnifying glass, and I think Daphne holding up the Scooby snack sort of kind of brings them together. I don't want to deviate too much from the outfit, you know. I want to kind of go with the outfit as much as I can. Like if I was using the Poison Ivy, the first Poison Ivy from Sideshow for Daphne, then yeah, take off the scarf. That would probably work. So that's the idea with her so far. A lot more to go. You know, there's a lot of sanding and chopping. So like with Velma, I'm working from the bottom up. So Velma, I did the shoes, I did the socks, I'm working upwards. So with her, we're gonna clean up the legs, we'll get the shoes done, and then from there, I gotta have the chest situated and the neck situated, and then clean up the cuffs. And then once I sort of got that cleaned up, I could start working on the skirt and the outfit, get the hands, and then the hair is gonna be last. And of course, when I was doing it, I did break off a finger, but I'll have to fix it. That's the other thing too, is because she's got gloves on, there's no fingernails, so I gotta try to see if I could sculpt some nails on her. So we'll try to give her a little bit of the nail look, where she's got more manicured nails type stuff for her. Little details. But that's where I'm going to call it for today, guys. I pretty much tapped out. Got some other things to do. Sunday I'll have 3 videos up. We'll have the She-Dragons, the Nate Gray, and also the Black Electra custom head I did. So at least there'll be some stuff up on Sunday. So everyone, thanks for stopping by, and have a good weekend.